Hi, I'm Laura, and this is Trojan, and today I will be doing the beginning of the year book tag by Larry. So I essentially was like, making videos takes really long, so I wanted to do something easy. So I looked to see if there's any for 2024, and I found this one by a booktuber named Larry. So, which is also funny because I was like, what is her channel name again? It's literally just a single first name, all lowercase, which is funny because I never see that. But anyway, so this is for 2024, but I believe there's only 23 questions, and part of me is like, one more question. But anyway, though, I'm just gonna answer the questions probably quickly, or hopefully relatively quick compared to my last 3 over hour long videos. Anyway, let's get to it. Number 1, how many books are you planning on reading? So I've had this goal for ever since I made a Goodreads, essentially, because I didn't have a Goodreads in high school, like when I was in grade school growing up. I didn't make it till college. That is to read 25 books. Now, I have failed. For every year, I've tried to meet this goal. But this year, I'm being more hopeful. I've read 9 books in January. I read 4 in February, both of which is more than I would need to read in a month to reach 25. Now, I've been slacking. I haven't finished any books in March yet, and the first week is already over, but we'll see how it goes. Number 2, most anticipated releases of the year. So I don't usually know when books are going to release, and one of the books I was interested in, I've already read. So I was trying to think of what book do I know is coming out this year. And the one I thought of was the sequel to Blood Herring by E.H. Drake. The sequel to Blood Herring by E.H. Drake. So I will admit, I've not read the first book yet, but I am hoping to finish it before May, which is when the second book comes out. So I am definitely trying to read this book before then. And I don't have any other books that I really am like, I want to read this before the second book comes out. So yeah, the sequel of Blood Herring is what I'm looking forward to. Number 3, a book on your physical TBR that you probably won't read. So for that, I have Keeper by Kim Chance. So this was back when I was kind of getting every book by an author tuber to read it. And this book I got used on eBay, and I'm not planning on giving up on it, but I never was particularly interested in it in the first place. I got it just because the author had a channel and I wanted to read it and review it, which I wasn't even reading quick enough to make that worthwhile. So yeah, this book, I've never really had any desire to read it. And at this point, I don't want to read things just to review. I want to read things because I want to actually think I'll enjoy them. I'm excited about the premise or think I can learn something from them. Whereas this story, I don't really have any of those feelings. Number 4, a new genre you'd like to try more of. So this isn't really a new genre, but I've read sci-fi, but most of the sci-fi I've read is the subgenre of dystopian, and I would like to read more just straight sci-fi books. So that's a new genre. And the reason I picked sci-fi as opposed to a different genre is because number 5, what book made you want to try this genre? I'm not currently done this book. It is my current read, and that is Dune by Frank Herbert. So I saw the first movie recently. I was trying to finish the book before I saw the part 2 of the movie, but as you can see, I'm nowhere close. I'm not going to finish on time. And by the time I post this, I will have already watched the movie. But I really am liking it, and it's making me think of all the other sci-fi books I want to give a chance. Like Leviathan, I want to read Ender's Game. There's so many sci-fi that I have not read because I've really only read dystopian sci-fis. I haven't read many space or otherworldly or just general sci-fi. So yeah, I want to read more space sci-fi. Number 6, a book you're most likely to reread. For that, I am picking 1984 by George Orwell. I've been wanting to reread it for years, and this is going to be the year. I know it. I'm finally going to reread the book and read it for the first time as an adult and see how I feel about it as an adult. Because When I read it as a teen, I didn't enjoy reading it, but the book stuck with me afterwards. And I don't know if it's one of those books where conceptually I like it more than the actual experience, or if I will enjoy it more on the reread as an adult and able to appreciate it more, because at that age I was like, this isn't fun. I don't enjoy it. Whereas now I can read things that aren't necessarily fun and enjoy and appreciate them more. Number 7, a book you wanted to get to in 2023, so it's a priority in 2024. That book is The Weaving Spider and Moth by Dal Cecil Bruno. So this book came out on Halloween of last year, and I had wanted to read it, and it is a space sci-fi, so it is actually the genre I wanted to read more of. And I just didn't get to it because the author, I was like, there's a lot of like depressing things going on. And the author was like, hey, this book's kind of depressing, so if you're not up for it right now, don't read it right now. And I was like, you know what, author? Good point. So I didn't read it at the time. But right now, I feel like I would like to read this book. And I've honestly have read some depressing books since this book came out. It's just, since I didn't read it right away, I ended up pushing it back on the back burner. But now I would like to read it and get to it now. Number 8, a series you want to read this year. So that is the Bodymore trilogy. So the first one is Bleed More, Bodymore, which I have read. And then the second one is Plead More, Bodymore. And then the third is Grieve More, Bodymore. There was a cover style change, if you can tell. But anyway, so I read the first book and I really enjoyed it last year. The third book actually came out the same exact day as the other book, and I started this one before then because, you know, it's been out for multiple years. But yeah, so I read this book and I really enjoyed it, and I would like to complete the story and find out what happens to the characters that I fell in love with in this book. So yes, this is a series I'd like to read this year. Number 9, an author you've never read before and would like to try this year. So an author I've specifically wanted to try reading for since last year, at least maybe 2 years even, is Jane Austen. So I got her most well-known book, but I own all of them. And I own all her books because I intend to read them all, but I've not read a single one. It's like I bought all the books by this author, having not read any of her books. So I really need to read a Jane Austen book. Also, I have a coworker who loves Jane Austen, so it would be a great time now to read it while I have her to talk about it with. And also then like watch the mini series and watch some of the movies about the books together. Number 10, an author you're probably not going to read more of this year. So that author would be Brandy Elise Secker, and she wrote The Pawn and the Puppet. So The Pawn and the Puppet, I read it for a book club that I was in, and it was hilariously bad. I enjoyed reading it because of how bad it was, but from what I understand, the sequel book is like very fetishy, and also like, while I enjoyed reading the book because of how bad it was and found it funny, that type of entertainment doesn't lead me to want to continue, because I don't care what happens to the characters. Because I don't genuinely care about them. I enjoyed the story and had a really good time reading it, but it's one of those things where it's like, so bad it's good is like something that accidentally happens, and I don't think the second book is going to achieve that. And the so bad it's good thing doesn't really make me like the characters, because I don't read them as people I'm invested in. I just read them as, oh, this is so silly. Oh, that's such a cliche. That's this trope or that trope. So yeah, I don't plan on reading any more of her books because this one was not very good. And while it entertained me, I also don't really have the desire to read bad things for entertainment. Yes, if something's bad, I'm not gonna, I will allow myself to be entertained by it. But I don't purposely seek out bad things, because I do want to write, and I feel like you learn more from reading good stuff. If you yes, you can learn from bad books. But after a while, I feel like it just starts to influence you, and you can't really learn as much from a bad book as you can a good book. And there's flaws in like every book, so you can still learn from other writers' mistakes in amazing fiction. But I feel like you learn more from actually reading the amazing thing and learning from their triumphs. Because knowing something sucks is very different than knowing how to do something well. Number 11, a popular book you want to read this year. So that book would be I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jeanette McCurdy. So I literally was hearing all the hype about this, and I was like, you know what? I'm actually kind of interested in it. I haven't really read memoirs, and honestly, I would like to read more nonfiction and memoirs. And the hype for this book got to me, so I bought it and then never read it. So this is a popular book I would like to read. And I picked this one because while I went to read other books that are popular, this one, I feel like it was the hype that made me not want to read it. Which recently, like when I want to read popular books, it's not always because of the hype. Number 12, a non-popular book you want to read this year. This book I heard about from the YouTube channel Tale Foundry. They did a video discussing it, and I immediately went to find it online, and it's like, it's a trilogy, and each book in the trilogy was first published in 1946. So I went to look for this online, and it was actually really difficult to find. It is not a well-known book, and while I want to read a lot of indie books, most of them are currently being published, so this one was harder to find. So I picked this one as my example, and that is the Gormenghast trilogy. From what I understand, it takes place in this castle, and the reason it interests me is that the way it was described in the video is the castle has its own presence, and it's almost as if its own character. And I don't know, it really sparked my interest, so I'd like to read this. Number 13, an audiobook you would like to listen to. So for that, I would like to re-listen to A Breach of Peace by Daniel Green. So I already own the audiobook, and I've been interested in rereading it, and specifically the sequel one, Rebel's Creed, because I never reviewed it, and I reviewed the first one, and I would like to talk about the second one, but at this point I would like to re-listen to it before I talk about it. Number 14, a book you want to read based on the cover. So I actually forgot to grab a book for this, and my books are not with me. However, I don't really want to read books based on their cover. That's really not something that draws me in. If anything, titles. A title will make me want to read a book more than cover. I will pick up a book because of the cover, but I don't want to read any books because of the cover. So, like, I don't have an answer to this. Like, I'll pick up a book because the cover tells me, either interests me, but then I'll read the back. Or, like, the cover is like, oh, that looks like Greek or Roman something on the cover. Is the book about that? Then I read the back, and I'm like, oh, yes, it's about that. So, I don't know. I'm not a cover person. I will want certain editions because I think a cover's pretty, but I don't want to read a book because of it. So I don't know, I'll pass on this answer because I also forgot something, and I can't think of anything, because literally, even if the cover intrigues me, I will not actually read it just because of that. Number 15, a book to TV adaptation that you're excited for. So again, this one will have already happened before this video is up. But I'm going to pick it because honestly, I cannot think of any other ones that I'm really excited for. But that is Dune Part 2 is coming out. I should be watching it literally tomorrow. So before the video is up. And while I'm nowhere near done the book, and I watched the first part before I'm not even caught up to the end of the first part. And I watched the first part before I read the book. But honestly, I don't think I mind. This book is very... like, I'm not reading this book being like, oh, I know what happens. Like, I'm enjoying it. I feel like I'm getting to know the characters more for the book, so there's still a reason to read it. Also, if I like the movie, I'll still give the book a shot. But yeah, so I'm genuinely excited for the movie. It should be super fun. And I cannot think of any other adaptations that I am that excited for. I'll have to look into it. I know Wicked's being made into a movie, and I think I might want to read that and watch it, because I am curious about Wicked. So Wicked actually might be my other one that I'm interested in. I don't know. I think it's going to be an adaptation of the musical, though, which is an adaptation of the book. So, yeah. Number 16, something bookish you want to start doing this year. So I would like to, and I've done this before, but I'd like to be posting my thoughts on books on Goodreads. I need to catch up because I have a bunch of books I've read that I've never said anything on Goodreads about. But yeah, I want to start being consistent on Goodreads. Also, I would like to talk about the books as I read them. I think monthly wrap-ups would be good because doing an individual review for every book takes forever. And I think doing a monthly stream of conscious book wrap-up would allow me to talk about all of them. I still want to do individual reviews, but only for the books I specifically want to do individual reviews about. And then I can do a general wrap-up to cover everything. And also, honestly, I don't really have that much filming space, so I'd rather just do things more efficiently. Number 17, something bookish you would like to stop doing. I don't know, I don't feel like I do that many bookish things to the point where I want to stop doing it. Making myself read books I'm not actually in the mood to read. Because it's not necessarily that there's books I don't want to read, but I feel like sometimes I will try to make myself read a book for an external reason, when really I feel like the main reason I should be reading something is because internally I want to read it at the time. So that. Number 18, a 2024 bookish goal. So my goal would be to just read more consistently and to read more books that I've been collecting. So like I've been collecting Greek and Roman books because I want to learn about it, because I have my own ideas that would reflect that, or that is that sort of setting, and I would like to read how other books do it to learn. And I've been getting lots of books because I'm like, I think I could learn from this book, or I think I could learn from that book, and I've not been reading them. So I would like to start reading the books I've been getting that I specifically want to learn from. So I'm editing and I just realized I never answered question 19, which is a booktube goal. And for that, I will just say posting more regularly. Number 20, a non-bookish goal. So I haven't really talked about on here, but I am engaged and I am getting married this year. So for the wedding to go well, I have to finish the centerpieces. I have to get the cake stuff done. I have to do the flowers. So just for like the wedding to go well and to have a good time, and yes, for it to go well. And then also once I'm married, we're planning on moving in together and getting a place. So there's literally lots of big things happening this year. And yeah, I just want them to all go well and to be amazing. Well is such a low bar for everything to be amazing. Yeah, not to die of stress. That too. Number 21. Describe how you want 2024 to go in one word. So I should have thought of this beforehand, but I did not because incompetent. So I could say life-changing, because like this year, literally massive life-changing thing, but that doesn't imply good. Amazing, spectacular, romantic. I don't know. I want to try to be more motivated this year and do things I've been putting off, and like seize the moment. That's not a word, but like that vibe, seize the moment vibe, whatever. You know what? I'm so bad at this. I can't think of a word, and spectacular is super general. Watch it like actually have a definition that does not mean what I think it means. I feel like there's words where everyone uses it one way and then one day you're like, wait, that's not what I thought it meant. Number 22, booktube creators who inspire you. So I don't know if either of these people would call themselves booktubers. Maybe they would. They also make writing videos, but they do make bookish videos reviewing books. So I don't think it's a stretch, but I would say two people that I comment on regularly are Kirk Pattycake and Julian Greystoke. So Ian is one of my really good friends. I know her in person. I actually met her online, and she's just so dedicated and gets so much stuff done, and I admire her dedication, and I would like to one day be as consistently dedicated as her and be as consistent at uploading as her, because she is literally, I don't understand how she makes so much content. I respect that. I don't necessarily expect to get to her level, but more. And then Julian Greystoke, I've watched her for years. I would consider her a friend. We're friends on the internet. I've never met her in person, but I really like her. I really like her content. Her content, I feel like, is closer to the type of stuff I like to make as opposed to Kirk patty cake. Now, Kirk patty cake does some things that I also like to make, but I feel like Julian's content is a bit more of what I usually make. With like, at least with like the style videos, I feel like my content matches her more, and so I really like her videos. I like Kirk patty cake's videos too, but the type of videos I want to make do lean more towards Julian's. Um, so yeah, like that's what inspires me. I really like her content, and her content is kind of similar in vibes to what I'm going for. Number 23. Say something to someone is something you wanted to say to anyone starting a book account. Don't be like me, be consistent. I think one thing is that I've struggled with is don't necessarily, if you love reading, of course sharing it online is great. But I've struggled with, I feel like I'll start to make videos and I'll prioritize the videos over the actual reading. And my reading suffers because I want to talk about it, which prevents me from reading more or from writing more. And I think it is, you can do it for fun. And if you want to make a job out of it, that's different. But if you're doing it for fun, like I do, keep it fun. Don't stress about it. Like I missed 2 weeks in a row posting because my internet was so bad. I literally couldn't get it uploaded. And don't stress about it. Just like if you want it to be for fun, then let it be for fun and don't let it overwhelm you. Anyway though, that's the tag. It was literally 23 questions. I feel like that was like in her description. I wonder if like she didn't write one of them in the description because I watched the video, but there was a bit of a gap between that. There's only 23 questions. This is for 2024. I feel like I missed one. Or did she literally just do one question less than a year for a tag for 2024? Because like it was so close. So close. Anyway though, that's everything I have to say though. Yep, I have a massive pile for the tag, and hopefully I will actually get to all of the books in this year, except the one I said I don't want to read, because that was also a question though. Anyway though, thank you for watching. Let me know your answers to the questions down below, and if you want to do this, feel free to, and also let me know what you think of the books that I talked about with you today. Anyway though, thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.